Hey guys, over the last few years, I have shown a slew of products that can be used during power outages, that can be used for camping, tailgating, boating, all kinds of different things. And got another product for you today to show you. This is actually a 12 volt car refrigerator. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce this name. I'm not sure if it's VECYS. That's what I'm going to go with. But their model is CR18. There's a SKU if you want to know. This video is probably going to take at least a week to do because there's a whole bunch of different testing that I want to do and show you guys here. First thing I do want to show you though is I received this yesterday afternoon, and it says to leave basically upright for 24 hours before using, because this is an actual refrigerator. It has refrigerant in it. I believe it uses R13A refrigerant. So this is not a cooler, but once I get it out of the box here, it will look like a cooler, but it definitely is not. It has a compressor and it is a legit refrigerator. And I will probably pull this out of the box and then come back with you. It's a little bit too big for my tripod to pick everything up, so I'll get it opened up and then come back with you. So pulling it out of that box, there was some styrofoam on top and on the bottom of it, and then there was a plastic wrap or bag over top the refrigerator itself. So as far as portable refrigerators go, this one is about the smallest that you can get. It is 18 liters, that's why it's called the CR18, which is 19 quarts. And just to give you guys some actual dimensions, the length on it is like 22.5 inches. Height is like 11.5. Depth is like 12.5. So right out of that box, one thing I will say that I've noticed already though, is this side here is completely smooth and flush. But over here on this side, that's definitely raised up quite a bit. You see that? Hopefully that doesn't allow anything to leak out or affect the performance at all, but I don't like how that is. I don't know if I can adjust one of the hinges or not, but up here in the front, it's fairly flush. But once you get past the display, that's definitely raised there. All right, let's get this piece of tape off. We'll get this thing open, see what's inside here. There's also like some plastic over the control panel. Get that off. All right, there is a latching handle here. So you do have to there's a little thing underneath here. I'll show this up close in a minute, but there's a little area that you have to push up and then the lid opens up. And then inside here is a box and a user manual. And inside the box are the cables that we're gonna need. Looks like a 12 volt power cord. So there's a 12 volt. And this is the AC power cord. So that's what you get, is the refrigerator, couple cords, and the manual. Then on the inside of the lid, there's like a little chart that tells you the optimal temperature for different foods and drinks. Did want to quickly show you guys the manual as I'm looking through it. It does have a full like parts diagram, which is pretty nice. It shows you the compressor, the fan, all that type of stuff on there. And then the next page is like all of the specs and stuff, parameters. So I'll let you guys pause on that if you care to read any of it. Operating instructions, and then it has different types of error codes and stuff like that, troubleshooting stuff. And then it does have a 1-year warranty, and it does also have email addresses if you would need to contact them for anything. So like I said when I showed the cords a bit ago, this can be either a 12 volt, so you can use like your cigarette lighter in your car, or 12 volt plug, whatever they're called nowadays. Or you can plug this into your household AC. You can also use that same 12 volt cord like with one of those portable power stations, and I'll probably show that at some point in the video. That's how I plan to use it. This can be either a refrigerator or a freezer. Because you can take this all the way down to -4 degrees Fahrenheit. It can also go all the way up to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. The compressor does have a little bit of volume or noise or whatever to it, but it's only 45 decibels, and you talking is way, way, way louder than that. So basically, you'd have to be standing right next to this with the compressor running for you to even be able to hear it at all. If you're sitting just a couple feet away, you would never hear it running. It does have the digital touch display, the control panel up here. And you can change that from either Celsius to Fahrenheit. I haven't plugged it in yet. I think it might come in Celsius from the factory, but we'll have to check that out in a minute. Like I said, it does have a locking latch here, and you can see that now. I can push that and this will latch into right there. It's got a rubber seal, goes all the way around the lid, and obviously matches up right here to make that fairly airtight. Up on top, it's got a single drink holder. On the sides, it has molded in handles. I don't know if I can turn this here to show you. Molded handles, those are nice. And it has, I don't know what the thing weighs, I might have to look that up. Has aluminum hinges. It also has a soft close lid, but it does not latch on its own. So you do have, so if I just kind of push it down here, you'll see it'll slowly close here on its own, but the latch will not close. So you still have to basically push that to get that to latch. And then once we get the thing powered on, I'll show you that it has, as far as the voltage, it has a high, medium, and low. And the purpose of that is if you are using it in your car, you want to protect your car battery if the car is not running. So you can change that voltage. That way, like if you're using it as an overnight, car's not running at all, you want to be able to start your car the next day. So the cooler would, or the refrigerator would actually shut off to protect your car. We'll go over all that. And then also for the refrigerator settings, it has a max setting and an eco setting. So that, let's say you first turn it on, you put your warm or hot drinks or whatever food, you can set it on max and it will cool down the fastest. And then once everything is to the temperature you want, you can switch it to eco, and then it doesn't consume as much power to keep the thing running. So today is actually Friday, May 27th. I'm not even gonna power this thing on until Saturday, the 28th. Like I said, I just received it yesterday. And if at any point this thing was like tipped on its side, tipped upside down, it was delivered by Amazon, and I just don't want to chance the oils out of that compressor being ran out somewhere else. So I'm gonna wait 48 hours from the time I received it before I even plug it in. I don't need it for anything right now. And I might mess with that little latch to see if I can get that thing to go any flatter or not. That kind of bothers me a little bit because it's flat on the fronts, it's flat all the way on the one side. It's just that one corner is up just a little bit. One thing I would say is a lot of people would say, well, like, why would you want this instead of just getting a cooler? Well, obviously a cooler, you do got to buy ice all the time. So that's, $4 or $5 a bag every single time. The ice gets everything soggy that's inside there. And then let's say that you have a 55 quart cooler. Well, by the time you fill it with ice, you really only have like a 30 quart cooler because the ice is going to take up half the space in it. And what's great about these is if you want, you could still put ice in this while it's in the refrigerator mode, and you'd never have to replace your ice. If you went like on a week-long camping trip, this would maintain your ice the whole time. I know when I go camping in the summer, I have to go buy ice every single day, and I have decent coolers, but the stuff, like when it's sitting outside in 90, 95 degree heat, the ice does not last very long. But yeah, I think refrigerators like this are perfect for like weekend camping trips. I think they're great. Again, if you were going to travel from one state to several states away, you could put this in like the back end. Like the back end of my Jeep has a 12 volt outlet back there. And you would always have cold drinks, sandwiches, stuff like that, wherever you're going. You can just get it right out of your car and just keep going. They're good, again, for like going on a boat, take one of those portable power stations and always have cold drinks, stuff like that on a boat. Tailgating, There's really so many uses. One thing that, one reason why I wanted one of these is, again, we do have frequent power outages, and to be able to take one of my power stations and know that I will always have, our food in the freezer or the food in the fridge is not going to go bad immediately. Another thing that these are great for is if somebody has medications that have to be refrigerated, like insulin, or like the biologics like Humira and some of those that you would not want your medication to ruin or spoil and not have access to it. So these are great for that. You have a power outage. Basically, you plug this thing into your car or to your portable power station, and for several days, you would have still access to that medication. All right, so it's been a few days since I did the first part of the video, and I am about to power this refrigerator on for the first time. So I'm just taking an extension cord. I have the power cord plugged into the side of the fridge here. We'll get this thing plugged in. All right, and then it says to power it on, you have to hold down the power button for 3 seconds. All right, looks like it did come on. So that's going to show us our degrees in Celsius, which I'm going to show you how to switch that here in a minute. And then the voltage is coming into it right now, and that's from the wall outlet. So let me get over here a little bit closer and then zoom you guys in. All right, so in order to change it from Celsius or centigrade to Fahrenheit, it says to press the settings button and the up button for 5 seconds. And again, we can see that's 21 degrees Celsius. I have no idea what that is Fahrenheit. So let's do this. There we go. So then what do? Hit one of those. Okay, so it's 70 degrees Fahrenheit, which is at room temperature basically right now. I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but the compressor is running right now. And let's see what the refrigerator temperature set at. Okay, so it's set on 0 degrees. I'm gonna set it for 35. Oops. Okay, 35 degrees. And I have a thermometer here. This came out of it's showing 72 degrees. And what I'm going to do is put this down inside the cooler. I don't know, I'm going to leave the lid closed for probably an hour. Then I'll open up and peek in there and see what it's showing and see if it gets it down to 35 in that hour. It also looked like by default, it's already on the max setting, which is the fastest cooling setting. And then it was on the medium voltage setting. That really won't matter too much on the voltage if you're plugged into the AC, but it will if you're plugged into 12 volt like through your car. And I'll show that later with one of those battery power stations. So it's actually only been 10 minutes and I heard the compressor stop and the display is showing that it was at 35. I can't believe it's down to 35 from 70 in 10 minutes, but maybe it is. But I'm gonna open this up. I know I said I'd wait an hour, but I'm gonna see what that thermometer inside says. All right, so it is really cold in here, but this is showing 48 right now. So I will close that back and give it the hour, like I said. I just wanted to see, just because it did stop running. We'll give that thermometer a chance to kind of get down to that temperature. And that's the thing too, is I don't know how fast that thermometer reacts to the change in temperature. It might take it 5 or 10 minutes too. All right, so it's been another 15 minutes, so 30 minutes total. I'm just gonna take a quick peek and see what that shows. Yeah, it actually shows it's below freezing. I had adjusted this temperature over here to 28, and that is exactly what it's showing now. So in less than a half an hour, that thing went from 70 to below freezing. So that's pretty impressive. I did want to point out a small issue with the display. I always like to be completely honest and transparent. So I have this set right now on 33 degrees, and I'll show you here. 33, can you see that? 33 degrees. The compressor just kicked off a few seconds ago, and the display just randomly jumps to any number in Fahrenheit. A few minutes ago I had it set on 35, and when it finished it actually jumped to 101. And then sometimes this number will even change. It'll be sitting there at 72 and it can change to a different number. I reached out to the contact through this company, and they said that it's a kind of known issue when it's set in Fahrenheit. When you have it on Celsius or centigrade, it does not do that at all. And it's something with the programming, and they are working on it. They assured me though that whatever temperature, you see how they just switched to 86? Yeah, I didn't touch anything, didn't do anything. They assured me that whatever temperature you have it set at, so again, I have it set at 33, is the temperature that it is maintaining. And then if the refrigerator were to start needing for the compressor to kick on again, it would, and it would get it down to that 33 I have it set. But in Fahrenheit, that number can jump anywhere. So I just want to let everybody know about that, which again, it's not going to bother me, but you know, some people would think that, well, maybe it's not working. Maybe it's actually trying to warm back up right now. And I still have my other thermometer down in there, which was set at, it was on 28 a few minutes ago. The next thing I want to do is basically a bottle of water. I just pulled this out of the garage. The garage temperature is just over 70. It was like 72 or 73 out in the garage. I'm going to see if that's close to that temperature. And so what we're gonna do here is put this down in there, see what we get. It might take it a few seconds to kind of get there, but basically what I want to do is show that I have basically a warm or a room temperature bottle of water, okay? And now what I'm gonna do is put this bottle of water in here. I know in a regular fridge, it takes like 3 or 4 hours for this to get to like nice cold drinking temperature. So I'm gonna put it in here, and we'll come back in 3 or 4 hours. So I'm gonna, just to show you guys, and that's showing 26 degrees in there. So we'll leave both those things in there. Make sure that that will close. Yeah, it does. Okay. Then I think after we get done with this test, we'll see how many water bottles we can fit in the thing, and maybe how many cans of pop or whatever. Okay, it's been about 3.5 to 4 hours. One thing I can tell you about the compressor is that it probably kicks on maybe every 20 to 30 minutes, and it only runs for like maybe 2, 3, 4 minutes at the most. So it's pretty energy efficient. And after I check the temperature of this water bottle, I will do something where I'm gonna unplug it from the wall, and plug it into one of those portable power stations, and really just kind of see how long just a small station can run one of these. But let's get a temperature reading on that bottle of water. It does feel good and cold, I can say that. And again, this is technically a meat thermometer, but it'll work. So I think that was around, I don't know, 72 or 75 before when I put it in there. So we'll see what it is now. It should be hopefully in the low 30s. Yeah, that's pretty decent, and it feels good and cold. So it looks like we got a reading of it. It's still going down even lower than that, but right around 35. So, and that's really about what I have the refrigerator set at. So yeah, that's real good. And that was the only thing that was in there, other than that one thermometer. All right, so the next test I'll do is unhook it from the AC power and then plug it into the DC power here. This is like a 500 watt hour power station, and again, we are going from cold already because it's been plugged in, and there isn't anything really inside of the refrigerator, but we'll see. I kind of expect this to last at least 2 days, so we'll kind of go and see what it does. All right, it's plugged in right now. It's not drawing any wattage at all. I'll kind of let you know, I'll give you an update whenever the compressor kicks on. Again, I think this should last for several days, completely off the grid, basically just using this portable power station. And I really just kind of see it. If you're interested, this 12-volt cord here is probably, I'd say at least 9.5 feet long. So when the compressor is running, it looks like it pulls about 35 watts or so. I've had this plugged in for maybe 2 or 3 hours and it's still at 100%. So again, it's probably gonna take a couple days. All right, it's been 24 hours and I'm still somewhere between 60 and 40%. So we'll let this test keep going until that battery power station dies out. Quick update, I was just out in the room here filming another review. I heard the compressor kick on and then just a second later I heard it kick off. And so we finally depleted this battery, which was a 500 watt hour. And I'm sure that it still has some capacity. They don't let them drain all the way down, but this thing lasted for 46 hours. So almost 2 full days. So according to the Amazon description, you can fit 16 bottles of water in there. I'm not gonna bore you by watching me put every single one in there, but I'll see how many I can fit and then come back. So technically I was able to fit 19 in with them standing upright, but these 4 are pretty tight. So I'd say that 15 upright is kind of more realistic. I'm not like wedging them down there, but they're all in there pretty tight like that. I'm gonna try laying them down and see if I can fit in laying down. So laying them down, I was only able to get 15 in, so a few less than the other way, because here it's too high, the lid won't close, and over here it's still a little bit too high. I could smash it down, but so basically 15 that way, 15 to 19 vertical. All right, last test I'm gonna do with this is see how many cans of pop we can get in it. I'll probably go laying them down and sending up, but I wanted to show you right now, I've got 4 in a row right there, and the cooler's like 1/4 of an inch too small from being able to fit that 5th can down flat. So right there is a 12-pack. Amazon description says it can do a case or 24. So I'm gonna grab another one and see if we can fit all 24 in there. So I was able to fit 23 cans, got 1 left over. Not sure, maybe I just didn't stack them right this way or what exactly, but you can't put it there, won't close. Can't put any more up on top. Doesn't fit in here. So the lid won't close in any of those spots. But 23 cans is what I could get. I may try it a different way to see if I can get the 24th in. So standing them up, I was able to get 15 on the bottom, and now we'll see if I can fit the other 9 up on top of those. I was only able to get 7 more on top of them that way, so 22 total. So I'm not exactly sure how to configure it to get all 24, but you know, somewhere between 22 to 24 cans is what you can expect out of it. So I've been testing this little refrigerator on and off for probably a week, week and a half, and had it plugged in for multiple days in a row without ever unplugging it. It always maintained the temperature that I had it set at. I know earlier in the video I kind of said that the display was a little bit wonky when it would reach the temperature, and I also explained that when I reached out to the rep from the company, and they said that they knew it was an issue, that the engineers basically have fixed the problem, and to be honest with you, they're waiting until this supply sells out on Amazon before they send in the replacements. So I've been looking at these refrigerators for probably, I don't know, the better part of the last year or two. And even for the small ones like this, they never go below $200. Usually they're like $220 for about this size. Some of the more popular brands like Alpacool and some of those are even like $260, $270 for this size. Because VECYS knows that it's an issue with that display, they have told me to let you guys know that they're actually going to discount this to $140. It's an insane price. And if you can get past that display, kind of switching it to whatever number, or just switch it to Celsius. It never does it if you have it in Celsius. Whatever temperature you have it set at is what the display always shows. But 140 bucks because they know that there's just an issue with the number that it shows. Again, it does not affect the performance of the refrigerator whatsoever. It always maintains the right temperature. 140 bucks is an insane deal on these things right now. So I didn't have any issues with anything else really, other than the display going kind of wonky and then only being able to fit 23 cans of pop in it instead of the claimed 24. Other than that, like, it's a really good little refrigerator. So I know this is a long video. I appreciate anybody who stuck it out this far. I will leave a link, an Amazon link down below. If you just want to get some more information about the refrigerator or whatever. If you guys have any questions, please just leave them down in the comments section and I'll try to get to them. But I'm really impressed with it. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it.